What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nightreign walkthrough. So today we are going to unlock the 2 hidden characters in this game. Currently we only have access to 6 Nightfarers. Now we're going to have access to the remaining 2. So when we beat our first expedition, we got ourselves a special item, this old pocket watch. We need this to unlock the Duchess. So we got it from beating the first Night Lord. I believe if you fight the first Night Lord a few times and fail, the game will still give it to you. In my first playthrough, I got it without beating the first Night Lord. So we're going to take this and we're going to hand it to the priestess.
What is it? I will do my utmost to aid you.
So we can show her the old pocket watch.
I'm sorry, but that's the timepiece I misplaced. Could I trouble you to have it back?
And of course, we'll give it to her.
Thank you. I've had quite enough of all the ceremony. No one ready to get my hands dirty. We'll slay this Night Lord yet.
So as it turns out, the priestess was the Duchess all along. The Duchess has joined the warriors of the Round Table. Choose her to depart on expeditions like any other player character. The Duchess is a highly agile character who can dodge rapidly in succession and carry out other quick moves. So we have access to the Duchess. After you get the Duchess, you can now purchase an item called the besmirched frame from the warrior jar bazaar. However, it costs 1,500 merc and we only have 615. You might have more than me if you've gone on more expeditions than me. For this character, we've only gone on kind of the one against Gaius, the Tricephalos. But we go to our merc station here for relic, or rather our relic station here for relic rights. You can go all the way over to the end and you can actually sell relics for merc. And so I'm going to sell a couple of these relics. Let's see, I've got this one, Iron Eye, Art Charge, Activation, adds poison effect. I'm not going to be really using this one, at least not anytime soon, even though it does have a character skill on it. The only exception I'm going to make for relics that aren't guaranteed are the ones that have character skills, but this one I'm okay with selling for the 550 merc because I don't really care about the holy water pots. I really don't care about the fire grease, so I'm going to go ahead and sell that one. And then this one, stamina recovers the successful attack, magic pots, selling it. So now that'll give me a total of 515 as it shows there on the screen. So we are going to hit R3 and sell those 2. This one I'm going to keep because it starts, starting armament deals lightning damage that might come in useful later. And this one I don't really care about, but whatever, we're selling this other one. So we're good. We have plenty, all that we need. This one is a wilder specific, so I'm going to leave it since it's a character specific relic. So let's go ahead and sell. So now we got 515, enough for the besmirched frame. Again, you don't have to sell any relics if you don't want to, if you already have the merc required for the item here. So now that we've given the Duchess the pocket watch, we can now get the besmirched frame. One thing I'll point out, since we have beat our first boss, we have access to new gestures in here. There are new relics for sale. Some of these are actually pretty good, but I'm not going to spend my merc on them just yet. Since these are guaranteed relics, if I decide that I want to use one of these, I might just end up doing that. Some of these have pretty good attributes, such as ultimate art gauge +2. That's going to charge up your ultimate gauge a bit faster. Always comes in handy. Having more access to your ultimates in a quicker time span is always a good thing. So we're going to pick up the besmirched frame, though. That's what we came here for. Oh, I'll point out this one, too. This is kind of a random roll. So if you pick this one, it costs 600 merc, and you could get a small relic. You could get a big relic with a lot of good stuff on it. It really is luck of the draw if you want to spend your merc at the roulette wheel of Nightreign. You can do that. Feel free. Be my guest. I'm not going to be doing that in this playthrough, but it is available for you to try out. So we're going to pick up the besmirched frame. We're going to need this to recruit our final character. So make sure you pick this up if you want the last Nightfarer. So now if we access our map after purchasing that item, you see that we have a quest marker active. So we're going to see what that is about. We're going to go over here and we're going to talk to the Revenant. We're going to touch the Phantom. This is going to take us to kind of an alternate area, very similar to where we fought Morgott in the tutorial. But now instead of fighting Morgott, we got to face the Revenant in combat. Mano y mano. So the Revenant is going to summon some spirits. That's kind of her special ability that you can have access to if you're using her, if you're playing as her. And she will fire relentless triple rings of light. So I'm going to go over here. This one doesn't move, but I'm gonna see if I can kill her her summons first, so that way I can fight her more one-on-one. And this one is a little bit squishy, but can do a lot of damage if you're not careful. And then we got this almost pumpkin head looking dude, but it's not quite a pumpkin head over there. A lot more powerful, but is a bit slower than this one. And of course, the big skeleton hits like a truck but doesn't move. So that one's not as much of a concern. However, the Revenant can cause it to summon it and it'll fire a laser beam kind of thing. So I'm going to take these two mobile ones out first. And then once we get to the Revenant, she's actually pretty squishy. She doesn't have a lot of HP. Take these two summons out. And I need to check to make sure the Revenant's not like on me about to start shooting me. She'll shoot magic projectiles. See, there they are, but they don't reach all the way back here, fortunately. And I just whiffed. Oh, they are getting to me now. Okay, so you come over here. And so, as I said, if you're playing as a Revenant, you can actually summon these spirits as a distraction to enemies. And it's quite nice. So I'm going to go over here, do a grapple. Didn't pull her next to me, but I will do this. And that took away like half her HP. As I said, yeah, there's the skeleton firing his laser beam. But as I said before, the Revenant is not very powerful. He's trying to repel me, but it's not working. And she is gone. So that is the Revenant. And the skeleton goes away too. And now that we have bested her in combat, we can now play as her. So we get the trophy. The Revenant joins the fray. New character, the Revenant. The Revenant has joined the Warriors of the Round Table. Choose her to depart on expeditions like any other player character. The Revenant is a tactical character who can summon phantoms and coordinate attacks with them, like I just told you about. So just like I showed you the other classes in the sparring grounds, I'm going to pull out the Duchess, and we're going to have a quick look at their abilities. So as with all the other characters, they have a passive, a character skill, and an ultimate art. The Duchess's passive allows her to dodge twice. So she basically gets a double dodge, which makes her very evasive. Kind of handy to use, especially since she has lower HP. Her character skill, Restage, very good if you're good at using it. It basically takes the damage dealt to the enemy in the last 3 seconds. And when you use Restage, it deals another, it takes that damage and then it deals 50% of that damage right away. So let's say if you're playing in a trio and one of your partners procs bleed and then you get a critical hit like right then, you can hit Restage and it'll take 50% of that bleed damage, 50% of that critical hit damage and deal it again right then. So that is a very powerful skill if used correctly and can be really, really useful. Ultimate Art makes everybody in the party invisible, which is actually really good. Obscure self and surrounding allies to hide from foes. The Revenant has Necromancy, raise enemy ghosts to fight as allies. So when she deals the final blow to an enemy, she has the chance to actually summon it as a ghost. Not the 3 ghosts that you saw when we just fought her, but like you kill just any random Joe Blow soldier. That soldier can then become an ally temporarily with her Necromancy passive. Her character skill, summon spirits, so she can play the lyre to summon fallen family to rally in battle. So those are the 3 spirits that we saw when we just fought her. Her ultimate art, Immortal March, release Vengeful Ire to make self and nearby allies immortal. So it basically makes you invulnerable for a short period of time for the Revenant and for your party if you're playing in multiplayer. So if you go to the visual codex just to check out their actual stats, you see the Duchess, not so great HP, but has pretty good FP and has really good dex and really good intelligence. okay faith, but not as great faith, and meh arcane. But the thing with the Duchess is that even though she doesn't have good HP, she can dodge twice, and she can cloak herself when you use her ultimate art. She has some really good abilities with relics that you can equip on her. One of her relics actually increases the damage dealt by restage, which is very good. So we got the Revenant also. So she has terrible HP, really good FP, terrible stamina, but she has a B in intelligence and a B in arcane and an S in faith. So she's actually really good at magic. Unlike the Recluse, however, the Revenant and Duchess do not have a built-in way to recover their FP. So FP management is definitely more of an issue with the Revenant and the Duchess if you're going to use magic with them. However, you can buy Starlight Shards, or you can pick them up if you get a lucky drop, which will recover your FP. In Nightreign, there's no such thing as a blue flask like there is in Elden Ring. So your flasks do not recover your FP unless you get a special buff. That is very rare, but nonetheless, you can also get passives on certain weapons that, for example, recover FP as you deal damage, but still you're going to be having to manage that FP pretty wisely if you're going to want to use it as a main source of damage. So that being said, let us make a quick trip to the training grounds. So the Duchess starts with a dagger. And this dagger starts with, you can code it in magic. Now, where the Duchess shines is, for example, if you get a relic that starts her off with poison, or starts her off with frost, or starts her off with a bleed dagger, look at how fast she attacks. You can proc those status effects on enemies in no time. So her dagger combos are actually pretty good. So I'll show you. You do this dagger combo and then hit restage, and look at that. You're doing really good. You're doing really good damage if you do a dagger combo followed by restage. So restage is extremely powerful. So use it wisely. And then I'll pull up her, let's see, ultimate art, no limitations. So ultimate art, you use it and it makes her invisible. And if you have party members, it also makes your party members invisible. So the enemies kind of lose track of you. Very useful. And so, as I said, if you can equip her starting dagger with a status element, then it really, really ups her potential. Also, as I said, there's a relic that increases her restage potential. So the restage actually does more damage than it already does. That's huge for her. Anything that reduces the cooldown on her skill restage, that's also huge. So those are some things that you want to look out for. And she's good at sorceries, but also remember she's got a B in Dex. She's good at pretty much anything that you can attack with in quick succession. And so take advantage of that Dex. Just be careful. Her HP is not so great. So that's where you can run into trouble for using the Duchess, especially as a melee character. But she does have things to offset that, namely the invisibility mode and the double dodge. So actually, I didn't really show the double dodge. So I'll do that real quick because that is actually her. It is her passive. So you see, you can dodge twice in a row. It basically gives her more or less twice the iframes. So you can dodge once if you want to, but if you hit the dodge button twice, you dodge twice. So very nice. Very cool character to play with. Can be a lot of fun if you get good at it. All right, so let us use the Revenant now. Can be a very powerful character, very cool character. As I said, her passive, if she kills something, she can raise it as a ghost. She starts with these phantom claws. She also starts with a seal that has rejection and heal. So she can heal right from the get-go. And this is actually very good against the Royal Revenant enemies as it is in Elden Ring. So if you have this honor and you're fighting Royal Revenants, then you can have an advantage right there. And yeah, these claws can be quite nice. So now her passive, or rather her skill, if you hit the trigger to activate it, triangle plus L2, you can then follow up with R1 for Helen, who's the page, R2 for Frederick, who's the big beefy pumpkin head looking guy, and then L1 for Sebastian, who's your giant skeleton. Now you'll notice that these all have their own HP bar. So once their HP runs out, then they despawn and you have to wait for their HP to charge again before you can summon them again. So I can go back, we'll pull out Sebastian. You can really only have one out at a time, so you can't just spam all 3 at once. But yeah, this basically gives you a distraction. If you're playing as a Revenant, especially solo, and you want some extra damage to the enemy, or you want to divert their aggro, this is the perfect way to do it. Our friend Frederick, he's kind of tanky, and he takes some hits and he deals some pretty solid damage. So yeah, it can really, really help you out. And then of course her ultimate art does this, and can make you invincible for a period of time. Very useful for your party. And then she also has a relic skill, if you get the relic for her, where she does a ghost flame explosion when she activates her ultimate art. Very, very useful. Does a lot of damage when you're around other enemies. So I'm gonna pull up the old test dummy here, and I'll pull out Sebastian. Another thing with her is if you do your ultimate art and you have one of your quote-unquote family members out, your family member also has their own ultimate art. So now he's going to do his laser beam attack. So if you activate your ultimate when you have one of your characters out, then your character performs their ultimate art too. So it can be very useful, especially if you're in a pinch. So that is the Duchess and the Revenant. So we now have access to all 8 night fairs. So we go back to our character selection. We see we got them all here, so you can pick them whenever you want. And so that is it. We got access to both of them. And so mission accomplished as far as this episode's concerned. I'm going to cut it off right here. In the next episode, we're going to go back to fighting some Night Lords. And actually, I think I'm going to be using Iron Eye for the next one. So just a little bit of a quick pointer. So there is a trophy for defeating a Night Lord as each of the 8 classes. So you have to defeat at least one Night Lord at least once with each of the 8 classes for one of the trophies. And there is a trophy for getting 3 successive wins against 3 successive Night Lords, and they can't be the same one. They have to be 3 unique Night Lords in a row without a failed expedition in between. That one's probably the most difficult trophy to get, or one of the most difficult trophies to get, but it can be save scummed. So if you're backing up your save, like let's say if you get a successful expedition, you can back up that save, and then if you fail your next one, you can reload it, and then until you get a win, and then we get your second win, you can back that one up and reload until you get your 3rd win in a row, and then the trophy will pop. You can do it that way. Or you can get 3 legit wins in a row, whatever suits your fancy. But anyways, that is a requirement for a trophy if you are indeed going for the 100%. That's what this walkthrough is designed for anyway. So that's probably why you're here. So anyways, appreciate y'all, and we'll catch you next time. Until then, take care.